Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Pick up your logo merchandise by heading over to abvnetwork.com, clicking on Shop, and start filling your basket today. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for something for yourself, a customized gift, or logoed items for your business gift shop, the Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. That's the number 2 in the Bar to Go. Don't forget our friends at Neely Family Distillery now ship their unique distilled spirits directly to you. To order yours, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we continue our Getting to Know the ABV Network Saturday series, where I interview Steve about something new happening in the ABV Network. Today, we're focusing on Bourbon Interviews, our new Apple subscription-based podcast. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve MacLeod.
Hey, McNew, what's up?
Hey, not much. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you may or may not even heard about this, audience, but yes, we have a subscription-based podcast. And you're like, why would I get a subscription? I get your podcast for free. So we'll talk about what that is, why we're doing it, all those type of things after the break. For right now, though, McNew, you said there's something you wanted to talk about. What is that?
Yeah, so December. We recently just had Krampus Day, which is December 5th, also Repeal Day. But I love Krampus Day. And I started to notice like a couple of years ago, like I like all things weird, that Christmas actually has a lot of ghost stories like Scrooge and all kinds of other stuff, actually. Do you like spooky stories during the Christmas season?
I don't think so. I mean...
That's probably a common answer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, the Scrooge thing, I mean, we've all seen that, of course, and that's okay. And that one Christmas song, he was a scary ghost stories.
So apparently people used to tell ghost stories during Christmas time.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me, and I was like, I could get into that. I need to know more Christmas ghost stories, but I don't think there's a large interest in that because people are like, it's Christmas, we're happy, we don't talk about weird things.
All right, this is a book idea for you. We should put you on this. We research traditional Christmas ghost stories, and we put that together in a book for you, and you become a best-selling ABV Network author, and on Amazon #1 bestseller.
Maybe, yeah. So I thought about doing a series or something where, I don't know, like YouTube or something, and do like a cocktail and then tell ghost stories. And we can do Christmas themed ones too. I don't know.
Ghost
it's
stories.
A lot.
Yeah. I don't, I'm not opposed. I just don't, I'm not. Really
I just think that it's not really thought about. Like, yeah. Because Christmas has evolved. I mean, what we think of Christmas in reality all happened kind of mostly in the 20th century. I mean, right.
The 1800s, it started kind of getting towards there, but really, the 1900s is what everything that we think about Christmas today all came to get trees and lights and, versus, what they were doing, a century before that. So, maybe the ghost story thing was much bigger, and I don't know. Maybe we need to. I think it was
because, like you said, it was in that song, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, that had to be a thing at one point,
right?
I would think. But
now, my kid and I did go see that Krampus movie when it came out, and that's just okay. That was okay.
That movie wasn't great, but the story of Krampus is great. I love Krampus. He takes bad kids and beats them in a sack. I love it.
I have a Krampus Christmas ornament, the bell thing.
Yeah, I think he's cute. I love Krampus, but
Krampus, so yes, we got that. And non-traditional Christmas thing we do is of course Festivus. So
you
Festivus for the rest of us. So the 23rd, yes, the Akelys celebrate Festivus, and this has been a long-standing tradition. My father was involved in it, so he's been gone 9 years this year. So we've been doing it a long time.
Right.
So yes, we enjoy Festivus, and we have a special meal. And of course, then then they do their feats of strength, their wrestling and all that. We don't do that. We do the making of the ravioli, which is the yearly tradition we do on Festivus. And then that's the ravioli that we make on Festivus, the 23rd. Then we have a Italian meal with the ravioli on Christmas Eve. We open family presents with my mom on Christmas Eve, and we have our ravioli. And then Christmas Day would be traditional Christmas fare. So, whether it's turkey or ham or whatever that is. So what about you? What are you doing right around the Christmas? Are you 24th and 25th? Are you doing things?
So we used to do, my parents would always do Christmas Eve, always let us do our presents and meal and stuff Christmas Eve. And then we just kind of lay around Christmas Day, like after my grandparents died, we didn't have anywhere to go. But then my brother got married, has like a basketball team, right. And then his wife's family is in Kentucky, so we're just kind of like, well, when are Eric and Jess available? So it varies every year. Like we don't really have a traditional day anymore. It's just when are you available? Christmas Eve
when
or
are
Christmas
you available?
Day? You to pick one. Yeah,
they pick, and then that's the day. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm usually just like, well, tell me when they're available, that's when we'll be there.
Okay. Well, you should start the Festivus tradition. We need it to take off. So, all right. Well, it is time to drink. McNew, what are you drinking there today?
I'm really not proud of this, but George Dickel rye.
Okay.
A lot of table.
Yeah, that's more table than anything there. I don't know that I heard any cork popping. No. So hopefully if this is audible, I will win. This is a Wilderness Trail. This is a 6-year-old offering from them. This is let's see here. Do we know? Sometimes they do rice, sometimes they do wheat. This is a sweet mash, so that's the normal for them. Mash bill. Oh yeah, here's the mash bill. Oh, this is a wheater. So 64% corn, 24% wheat, and 12% malted barley. Cork pop. Oh.
Well, yeah, that was all you.
That was a good one by any standard. So that is definitely the winner. So cheers to me.
All right, cheers, Steve.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about our new channel that we've got. It's an Apple subscription channel, so that's going to eliminate some of the audits because you have to have Apple. But we're going to talk about why we chose to do that and what we're trying to accomplish. We'll get to that after the break. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and I'm excited to announce a brand new partnership with Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Many of you have perhaps heard of Leatherwood via our co-host on the Bourbon Daily, Kaylee Baker, who works there. Well, they're now an official sponsor of the network, and we look forward to everyone getting to know a little bit more about them. Company founder Andrew Lang brought his brewing and distilling hobby with him during his years of service as a Green Beret in the United States Army. Whether he was at his home base of Fort Campbell or during tours of duty in places like Italy or Afghanistan, Lang distilled whatever was available to him locally. We are excited about getting to know Andrew Lang and his team better via our programming and are planning a trip down there for the ABV Network crew very soon. In the meantime, check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com, where they will ship bottles directly to you, including their special Remembering 9/11 series, which is raising money for military charities. Seriously, get out there, buy some bottles, help a good cause, and let us know what you think. We're really excited about this partnership. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and let's talk for a moment about our sponsors, the people that make this show happen. First up is our friends at Moonshine University. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at their office in Louisville. The information I learned through lead instructor Colin Blake and their team there is something that I continue to draw upon frequently in my role at the ABV Network. It truly is the standard of establishing a benchmark of knowledge of the bourbon industry. From history to production to brands and people, it's all there. Check out their full listing of programs, including Executive Bourbon Steward Certification, production classes if you're considering starting a distillery, and much more at moonshineuniversity.com. I also want to talk about Neely Family Distillery. Back in May of 2018, I met Royce Neely at Limestone Branch's Craft Bourbon Festival. It ended up not only being the start of a great friendship, I started to truly learn about what makes craft whiskey so amazing. You see, I had been a bourbon drinker for over 30 years at that point, and like many people who had been drinking bourbon a long time, I was hard-coded into thinking big bourbon was where it was at and craft was on a journey to get there. Spending time with Royce and learning the things he does to make his whiskey taste better started to really get me to appreciate how things like sweet mashing, open top fermentation, pot distillation, and the grains you are using not only makes your product taste better coming off the still, but also out of the barrel as well. I still love heritage brands and they make up a bulk of my collection. But when you find a craft distiller that is truly dedicated to the craft of distilling, you are drinking some of the best whiskey out there on the market today. That's exactly what's happening at Neely Family Distillery today. Check them out on the web at neelyfamilydistillery.com, or better yet, stop by and see them at their distillery in Sparta, Kentucky. And now, back to the show.
Hi, this is Rick Brenner, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Shouldn't it be the legend?
Maybe.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about our Apple subscription podcast.
Yes, we are. So, McNew, what do you want to know about Apple's subscription?
So I think it's a cool thing Apple's doing, but if people aren't familiar, tell them what kind of content you're featuring there. Because like you said, you get our podcast for free. Why would I get a subscription? It's different and it's exclusive, right?
Yes, it is. So in June of this year, Apple launched the subscription service where you could begin charging for current content or charge for, releasing episodes early for, your free podcast, whatever you wanted to do. Or you could create just a channel that had specific content you just create for that. That's what we did, because we felt like, if we're going to charge for something that we normally get for free, we have to do something different. So because it's a channel, we can have multiple podcasts on that channel. So there's 2 podcasts that you get if you subscribe to that. And again, why would you go to just one thing like Apple? Well, unfortunately, and no disrespect to those that don't have an Apple product, but that's where most podcasts are listened to. It's the biggest podcast audience.
And I think it's the easiest to navigate out of all the podcast apps.
Yeah. So yeah, if you've got a device, you got an Android, you're like, oh, that's bullshit. Mine's better. The numbers, the way it stacks out, who listens to our regular podcast, it's a lot of mostly Apple, to be honest with you. But I have no idea. Maybe like McNew said, it's just easier to navigate. So there's also this opportunity. There's no bourbon content out there, which again, there's a million podcasts. How do you even stand out? Luckily, we've been doing it a long time. Our podcasts stand out, but to go to a platform, the biggest platform in the world, and there's no bourbon content, that sounds pretty appealing. So we launched this and we offer 2 different channels. And the channel 1, they're both interview focused, and the one is called Classic Interviews. So again, as I started looking at this, we've got at that point over 500 interviews that we've done between our shows. And but the downside to them is they get kind of dated, because we never do just the interview. There's content before, content after. We might be talking about stories in the news or what's going on in the world of bourbon, and it can get very dated. And even the commercials that are playing there, they get old. We get new sponsors and stuff. It just feels old. So what we do for that channel, the Classic Interviews, is we draw from our 500 plus interviews that we had from all of our shows and put those, and we strip them down, take out everything but the interview. I do a quick intro so you know what you're listening to, of course. And I tell what show it's from and all that. Like a recent episode was your interview with Bernie Lubbers on Wine Time.
Wow.
It's on our Classic content.
That was a good one too.
Yeah.
That was a fun.
And because that show wasn't as big as the Bourbon Daily or the Bourbon Show, there's probably a lot of our audience that was like, wait a minute, I never heard the Bernie Lubbers interview with McNew. So you put it on our Classic Interview. So it's all out there. And again, is this content that we still make available for free? Yes, you can get it out there, but you have to listen with all the other stuff. And again, you may want to do that. You may be like,
you have to go look for it through.
Yeah. Right through. We have 3,000 shows out there, so you got to comb through it all. So it's a whole thing, and the idea is to have one place where it's literally stripped down to just the interviews. I think the home for that, and I think it's worth it. I've had some people through the years tell me, man, I wish I could just listen to your content without commercials. I'd even pay for that. Okay, well, here you go. You can pay for it now. So you don't have any commercials. It's commercial free. And yes, it's just basically just the interviews. So that's the one channel. So it's called Classic Interviews. Then the other channel is called Chatting With. And on the Chatting With channel, what I do is I contact someone via a Zoom. So it's almost like a phone call, and I talk and we chat with the person. And again, we don't do any prep up front. We just talk, just like we would a phone call, like we would call a friend and just talk. And that's the idea of that show. Is it's because normally when we do a show, there's preparation. We say, hey, this is what we want to ask you about, or you're coming on to promote this, depending on the guest. And that's the things that we get ready. And if it's a PR person involved, then you got to go over everything. Here's every question we're going to ask you. Here's what you're going to respond. So this is unscripted, and I don't even know what I'm going to ask till I start talking to the person.
Yeah. And I think those are fun because they just flow, right? It's like you're just talking to a friend.
Yeah.
I like those.
Most of them are, in the 1.5 to 2 hour range. So they're very long form too. So you get to know a lot, and we don't necessarily, we always talk about business a little bit, but it's more focused on a person's personal life. So if you really want to get to know someone, the Chatting With interviews are some of the best that,
and they're
I feel
always
like we've
industry people or industry adjacent people. So you're going to get some bourbon content in there, maybe get to know these people better. That's cool.
Yeah. You get to know their personal history and things like that. So that's the goal of those. McNew, you've even been on that show. I've interviewed you for that. So Yep. So it's fun. It's something totally different. And, I hope people like it. And, I think there's some value to that. It's not expensive. It's $8.99 a month. And you get, both of those shows, every week we're delivering, the content of those two, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So the content, is it on a schedule, or are you just posting things at random? Like, can they be like every Tuesday I listen to this, or is it scheduled?
Yes, it is scheduled. So on Wednesdays, the classic interview comes out. So, if you're a subscriber, every Wednesday you get a new classic interview. That's kind of cool. And then on Thursdays comes the new interviews. So the Chatting With shows. So where I talk with someone and we play those interviews. So that's going to be interesting to see if I can keep the content up with that one. Because that one's a tough one because, there's certain people that'll never be on there because they have to work with PR people. And that,
right. Again, they're not allowed to be on there.
They're not allowed to just chat. There's worried that they're going to damage their brand and stuff like that. So I have a smaller base to draw from, but I think there's a lot of interesting people out there, and especially because we're if you're in the industry, whatever that means, it could be tour guides, it could be people who make chocolates, anything that touches on the world of bourbon. We want to talk to them and get their personal story. And I always think people are interesting, and sometimes people don't think they're interesting, and you get them talking, you find out actually how interesting they are. So it's all about that.
Or I like it when it's like a serious person is actually really funny. Those are my favorite ones.
Yeah. I always, and again, this guy would never come on the show, but like Dan McKee.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's always has to toe the company line when he's, and then you get him chatting afterwards, and the guy's hilarious.
He was on a bourbon talk show last season, and after hours, he was so funny, and I was like, "You're so polished and put together that he's like a real human." It's fantastic.
So that's the goal of those things. Again, Dan probably can't come on because his company doesn't want, that's nothing offensive. You gotta abide by your company. They're paying your salary. So if you can't come on and do that, that's okay. But we're going to talk to the people that can come on and get a little looser, talk about just anything.
So who is up next on the Chatting With series? Who are you posting next?
So yes, we've got, of course, some of the regulars. I got Turner Wathen coming out.
That one's worth the subscription.
There may be an F-bomb or two in there. Jason Bronner is going to be coming up. So yeah, we've got some people that you want to hear from. I'm trying to score. The big one that's out there that I want to get is Freddie No. Now, again, he works for a big company that has the PR people, but he tends to do things, his own way. And I want to get him on one of these chats. So hopefully maybe that would be our big Christmas surprise. If I can land that one, I would save that for the one Christmas week, because that would be definitely a present to the audience. So
definitely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to know, McNew?
Yeah, I had another question and I just closed out of it. I wrote some questions, Steve. I closed out.
Unlike the Chatting With show, McNew does write questions. So yeah.
So with the classic interviews, what is the oldest one you have on there? Like, what year did it come from? Because you've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah. So our content goes all the way back to 2016, and we have released some of our interviews from that early on, from 2016. So yeah, we've been doing this over 5 years now. And, that's what's cool about that. And I don't follow chronologically. So you might think, okay, are we going through? No, we're not.
No.
You might listen to one from 2016 and the next one might be from 2019. And then we jump back down to 2018 and then it's 2017, back to two 2016s in a row. So it's just kind of all over the place. I try to, purposefully mix it up. So
yeah, I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. And then there's some too that are our friends. I haven't repeated anybody yet, but I will be. I mean, there's people, like Trey Zoller that we've talked to a bunch of times, or Jackie Zykan. But I think you want to hear every time they've been on at some point. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool.
That's the goal. So check us out. If you've got Apple, please check out the Bourbon Interviews channel, and you can download that, and you can even do a test if you're not sure this is right for you. I think you can get a 3-day subscription that's for free. It's one of those deals where then it kicks in, so you have to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
check it out, and I'm sure you'd want to stay after you get there. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll wrap up this show by talking about where people can find us. McNew, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, that thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. We put all of our content out there. We've got our blogs out there. We've got our interviews. Maybe you're like, no, I've got an Android. I can't do this. Don't worry. Free content's still out there. You can go out and find it on our website. So there you go. Check us out at abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network. All
right. Great job today, McNew. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. And this concludes the series for now. We're always doing new things. And when we get something new, I like this concept. McNew and I will get back together and we'll introduce them to you in this way. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's chat for a moment about Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you just want to experiment on a small scale on the stove in your kitchen or try your hand at a bigger setup in the backyard, Moonshine Still Pro can help. They have different still offerings as well as accessories and even grains from Goldstone Mill to help you make whiskey on par with what you get from your favorite distillery. They can even assist with a DIY still project by supplying some of the parts you can't make yourself. Check them out at moonshinestillpro.com. At the ABV Network, we're lucky enough to have some great friends. Amongst those friends is the Goldstein family, owners of Goldstone Mill. Goldstone Mill is a full-service mill offering a variety of heritage and heirloom grains. Their unique approach of working with mills around the country allows them to offer you affordable shipping opportunities to meet the unique needs of your distillery or brewery. They will consult with you to ensure the grains you are selecting meets the unique flavor profiles you are looking for. If you are a home brewer or distiller and you're looking for the grains that your local distillery or brewery uses, Goldstone Mill is the place to look. Check them out on the web at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or shoot them an email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.